Hey everybody, you're now tuned into my podcast, Difficult People Chronicles. I'm Seriously Focused Johnnie. So I'm going to open up with this. This episode is called Falling From Grace. You know I'm the Google queen. So according to Wikipedia, the fall from grace is an idiom referring to the loss of status, respect, or prestige. Fall from grace may also refer to fall of man in Christianity, the transition of the first man and woman from a state of innocent obedience to God to the state of guilty disobedience. Question: what do you call a person who never admits being wrong? Okay, time's up. According to query.com, a person who never accepts their own mistakes is prideful, insecure, in denial, defensive, and refusing to be vulnerable. The words that stuck out at me was insecure, in denial, defensive. Now, according to my grandmother, when people say sorry to you and then do the same thing over and over again, the mistakes, they call it, that they do over and over again, they start to look sorry. Now, there are people, those that do wrong, want to push their wrongs under the carpet, meaning they are okay with talking about it behind closed doors between the two of you, as long as it's not in public. And then they want you to so-called move on while they make or do the same thing over and over again. And they want you to dismiss it. Or you have those that want to erase half the things they did from their memory bank. And they want you to do the same. And can't understand why most don't want to deal with them or don't like them. Question: when people have a story to tell about their trials and tribulations, what is it called? Okay, time's up. It's called testimony. To tell a story is not them forgiving, or it's not all about forgetting the person per se. It's just them telling their story, their testimony, what they went through. And however they choose to do that is up to them, point blank. Their testimony is a process of healing and or educating someone else on what they went through. My past, I have flaws. There are things I'm currently working on. I try to be upfront with people, even though some choose to still get mad. I'm human. The step I've made in my life is to own up to it, heal from whatever, and keep moving. If I have a story to tell, I tell it. To educate, uplift, that is it. So here's the situation. I had to take a mental break because someone was testing me, and they put me in that space where I was just about to go back to the person I used to be, go off with them, throw the phone, curse them out a few, but I didn't do that. So my cousin said, when God give you good qualities, how to speak, how to deliver yourself, give you the words for your mind, and then when you speak, not being aggressive, he gives you a quiet mind, an ability to go to deliver yourself, so people will see that your action is the godly action and not like some of them aggressive people. God gives you words for how to do when being attacked by certain type of people. Because like me, when I say, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you say, oh, come on. From God, this is an assignment, the dealings of difficult people, the obstacles. Like when people come after me, I think today differently, how I'm going to handle it. My cousin said, because I told you, the Psalms, Lord, put a guard over my mouth and a watch at the door of my lips. And sometimes when I'm ready to lash out, if he says don't go, then don't go. I deliver myself even though I'm defending myself. He prevents you from getting back at the person, moving differently like a fighter, and let him handle some things, because God will steer you in everything you say and do once you trust him. And I thank God. Now, this guy I know, I really don't like him, but I talk to him. I do. He makes me yarn when I'm on the phone, like sleepy. He makes me feel some kind of way. Like when I feel he could be a better person or a good person, it's like, scratch that. And I told him, I said, I don't like you. Although he laughs a lot, I don't think he understands that I don't like him. He thinks it's funny. He failed to remember when he got me caught up in some nonsense because he was trying to be 2 cents lit. And as much as I don't like him, any dealings I have to deal with him is business, nothing else. So I'm around to hear his stupid stories. It's crazy. And my friends, they've lost all respect for him. Still in all, he chooses to try to come around us. With him comes negative energy. So I firsthand know how his son feels about him. For me, I guess it's because I can sense the BS. I don't know what it is, but we always seem to get into it because he is ignorant in his reckless behavior. And although I try not to judge, his ways always affects other people. It is not a judgment call, it is a fact. Stress, wrong decisions, manipulative, using, etc. That's the main reason I stay far away from him when I do. Anyway, we were talking on the phone because he gave me a call. And it was in reference to my Father's Day episode I published, him getting stuck in his feelings. And he said his son is now 22, disrespectful, and how he doesn't understand because he is a changed man and his son doesn't know him. He says his son said he never did anything for him, dismissing that he gave him $4,000 and paid for his vacation to visit him like, say, 4 times. This is what I'm remembering, 4 times in his whole entire life. And how someone said his son thinks he's all that. So I said, okay, let's start with the facts, shall we? You have 8 kids. You would have had 9, but that's another story. You are married and cheating, and you fathered 3 kids by 2 different women and not your wife while you were married. Did I add that you lied to all of them across the board and claimed you was in the military? You switch your last name. Did I add that every wrong thing you did, you blamed it on your ex-wife, the first one, then the second one, then the other women? Did I add that you are the same person who gave your son a female jogging outfit from one of your girlfriends as a gift when he was 18 and a dirty duffel bag for his birthday, missing all the cologne that was supposed to go in the bag? You used to tell everyone that his mother brainwashed him when he was old enough to see you doing dumb nonsense. And your son told me verbatim, his mother never spoke about the real you. That's why it was so disappointing to him now. Did you forget you introduced him as your younger brother and not your son to your friends? You're the same person who your brother and your ex-best friend cursed you out because they are more of a father than you were, or are, because you're still a father. You blame your best friend for cheating when it was you, and now he's divorced. Did I add, you said you are a changed person, but catch instant amnesia when your son separates himself, visits his uncle and your ex-best friend, and took them out on Father's Day and wants nothing to do with you because you are cheap, controlling, narcissistic with your $4,000. Never was asked or forced by the courts to pay a dime in support. But now you want to act like you contributed to his life. And you're jealous because I said one line on my Father's Day episode because you are in your feelings and homeboy, your son, is telling people about his testimony now. You got real nerve. That's what I told him. And then you said people are benefiting off of you. But if you think about it, in actuality, your son is benefiting off of you because if he didn't have a past, he wouldn't have a testimony. And I'm benefiting off of you because this story of a clown falling from grace is priceless. I can recall you had the nerve to talk about the deadbeats like you're a leprechaun bearing gold coins or even giving gifts. And I said you're stuck in your feelings like I said before because I can reach him via phone, email, drive over to his place if I want to, but I am not giving you his info. Get mad. And for those that said he is all that, they're petty, including you for bringing it up. He is God's child. This is what I told him. Go sit in your corner with your childlike behavior. I told him you are technically mad because God gave him the life that another grown man was a part of, and it was not you. Did I tell you that you are mad because the women that you messed around with is in better positions with great men? You're mad at me. Okay, you're mad. Stay mad. You should be. And as we were talking, my friend said to me, who was sitting on the couch beside me, he was like, did he think he won an argument? I should have said, what I should have said was that on my Father's Day episode, to the real fathers, I salute you. And for all those other people talking about his son, when you did not see firsthand the things he did or did not do, or see the other male figures that took care of him while you was busy creating havoc, mind your business. I know what he did. I got great memory, and so do a lot of people. And because everything bothers him now and how I move, let's be clear, I choose the side I want to be on. He is still reckless. I'm not saying he's a hater or an enemy, but I'm saying this. Sometimes someone close to you might not be a proud supporter, and I think it's safe to say I think 90% of his kids did quite well without his support. Don't you think? So he needs to stop jumping in all the family pictures and go crawl under a rock he came out of. Like I said to some of his kids, some people in this life choose the path they want to walk, and the path is the downhill from grace. So now they are angry and just trying to wreck shop in this world. But I say this, if you know someone that's like this, that's walking the earth, just creating havoc and chaos and lying and not owning up to their responsibility, they better be very careful, because sometimes you fall from grace straight into your casket, the casket you built. Sometimes when it comes to falling from grace, it's like the way I see it is that, like with his son, when his son was at a young age and he had no idea the situations that the mother and father was going through, he saw dad as dad, and the mother never said anything bad about him. She moved on to a better relationship with a better man. And as the child got older, he wanted to know his father, and his father showed his other face. So now that happy 4-year-old is still happy, but he cares less about his father. His father feels disrespected. He doesn't have the relationships he used to have with his kids. And, sooner or later, he's going to be all alone in his lonely little house on the hill. He can't blame anybody but himself. Although people want to move on from his situation, he still continues to do the same thing. And how I know that he hasn't changed, he started yelling on the phone. I was like, what is he yelling at? He's like, getting all aggressive, stuck in his feelings. And he says, I don't understand why people can't forget the past. I said, it's not about him forgetting the past. That's his testimony. You can't take that away from him. This is what I said to him. If you were a guy who had a positive story, your son wouldn't have a testimony. The only thing he could probably say as a positive story or something good is that my dad was the greatest father he could be to me. He can't even say that. So you continue to bark on your $4,000. It costs more than that from the age of 2. No, let's backtrack. From an infant to the age of 2 in taking care of a child. Like I have been saying all the time, karma does not come around the same way. Karma does not have feelings. When karma comes around, you don't even have to duck or move out the way. It's going right back to the person that did whatever. I took some time away from how I was going to deliver this. I know that fight, whatever's going on with homeboy, he's going to have to deal with that. That's between him and God. And he can lie all he want. Like I said before, that's his son's testimony. And everybody's a witness to see his son, who was raised by great men, even given words of wisdom by men of his own age. And he's walking as a king. And now his father's mad. Like I said before, everybody growing up is not looking towards being a clown. Some people are looking towards being king and queens. Let me go get another glass of wine. You feel me?